No one took my business seriously until I did these 5 things. And when I did these 5 simple things, it was as if overnight I had a new business. I got a completely different reaction and response to my business. And I started to attract higher level premium value clients. And they were easier than I thought once I did them. So if you've thought to yourself, I want to attract premium level clients, I want to attract a higher level client, I want my business to be taken more seriously, here are 5 things that I did that you can consider doing. The first one was I stopped accepting pick my brain invitations. Let me ask you, have you recently received a text or a DM from someone you've known from a long time, maybe from high school or college, or maybe someone who just met at a networking event who wants to invite you for coffee to pick your brain? Those are always hilarious to me. Well, I don't get those anymore. I used to get quite a bit. But when I stopped accepting them, right? I stopped saying yes to them, knowing what they were leading to. Even if someone said, "Oh, I want to meet you for coffee, and I'll drive to where you are to meet." If they weren't framed as pick my brain, but I knew exactly what they were. When I stopped accepting them and stopped acting like that was okay, that my business services, my knowledge, my expertise that had helped clients generate millions of dollars in profit was the value of a cup of coffee or a lunch, I stopped receiving them. And so what I did when I still received them, when I made the decision, this is not okay. Why am I acting like this is okay? I would respond like any other serious business owner who received someone who was inquiring about their services. So if someone said, "Hey, I'd love to meet for coffee. I have a few things I want to share with you and get your opinion on them," I would respond and thank them for their interest in my services and then direct them on the next step that they could take to learn more about my offers and hiring me. I got to tell you, this decision I made, which of course started with me valuing my value and respecting myself and taking my business seriously, it was like overnight or almost overnight, I stopped receiving these type of invitations. So that's the first thing I did. And man, I don't miss those at all. The second thing I did was I stopped attending networking events where my ideal prospects didn't hang out. I mean, I can remember driving to a networking event and being there and it being okay. I mean, I'm an extrovert. I like to socialize, but I'm looking around and being like, why am I here? Like, like I know that my ideal prospects aren't here. Whether it's the person who's speaking or just the environment, I know that they're not here. Why am I doing this just to say that I'm doing this? When I stopped really wasting time and just doing things to do things, but instead said, let me be intentional. Let me make sure that I'm showing up where my ideal prospects are gathered in large numbers. I started to take my business seriously. And guess what? People started to take my business seriously. And I didn't miss out on anything. The third thing, which is somewhat similar but different, is I removed myself from online communities and online networks where, again, my people weren't hanging out. And one of the key signs was that I removed myself from groups where the dominant sentiment, if I'm saying that right, was to complain, and have self-pity instead of it being an environment where there was learning, growth, transformation, wins, celebration. I just removed myself from these groups instead of feeling like I needed to be in these communities. And I had remembered when I pivoted my business from executive coach to business coach and was focused on serving believers, I joined a handful of Christian Facebook groups. I don't know if it was advice on a coach, and I say that because I'm not big into Facebook groups. There's 3 Facebook groups that I'm active in my perspective, right? And so I was in these Facebook groups, and at first it was exciting. It was like, wow, there's all these female entrepreneurs, these believers, who are doing business. This is exciting. And I'm not saying this is true for all female entrepreneur Christian Facebook groups. Hear what I'm saying, not what you heard. I just found myself in a lot of groups where there was like a lot of whining, a lot of complaining, and it just wasn't my space. It wasn't a place that I would want to hang out offline. So why was it hanging out online? And it definitely was not where my ideal prospects, collaborators would be hanging out. So I said goodbye and removed myself. You can see the theme, right? For the first 3, this was an inside out transformation. Once I took myself and my business seriously, then I noticed the outside results. I mean, first of all, outside results in terms of how I felt about myself and how I valued myself. And then it trickled down to me attracting more of the people that I was called to serve, higher level, premium value clients. So the last 2 things that I did is, this one, man. I stopped taking advice from people who had never been in business for themselves. Before I would find myself listening to people who had pretty outstanding corporate careers, giving me advice and feedback as an entrepreneur and a small business owner, which is a totally different realm of experience, a totally different way of operating in business. And so instead, and I don't receive these anymore because I've changed, I would hear someone's advice or recommendation, and then I would respond with, thank you for your feedback. Because I made the decision, let me take the advice and the feedback from coaches and mentors who are where I desire to be, who've been where I am, who've crossed on the other side, and I've now invested in them, or really invested in myself through their offer. Let me focus on what they have to say. And so, again, I stopped taking their advice, and I would listen until I no longer wanted to listen, and would respond with, thank you for your feedback. Listen, I want to know which of these 5, before I tell you the 5th one, which of the 5 you have done and had similar results, or you need to do. That is, if you desire for others to take your business seriously And you want to attract those premium value clients who love to pay in full. And the most important thing I did in terms of generating more sales, making more money, doing what I love to do in less time and with more ease was I raised my fees. I raised my fees without apology. In fact, I remember in March 2020, before the world shut down, I 3x'd my fees. And to reflect the results and the transformation that I'd helped clients produce. And in raising my fees, it was a way for me to remind myself that I am the business owner who enrolls clients of $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $25,000 and more in a single sales conversation. So I raised my fees and I showed up as the business leader that God created me to be. So let me know which of the 5 most resonated with you, most spoke to you. Now, it might have been like an ouch and amen in terms of you felt that you wanted to do one of these 5 changes so that not only you can take your business more seriously, but other people can take your business more seriously, and you can attract the premium value clients who love paying you in full. Or maybe it's Althea. I did the same exact thing. And maybe you're saying, like I said to myself, why didn't I do it sooner? Listen, these are just 5 things, or we can say like 5 mistakes that I wasn't even aware that I was making that was sabotaging my success. And I'm so happy that I did them. And if you want to learn 7 other sales mistakes, like 7 of the biggest sales mistakes that I too once made that are robbing female entrepreneurs and keeping them from 7 figures, I have a training for you plus a bonus workbook because we like to write down our notes and keep them right near our computer so we can make sure we're not repeating them. If that is of interest of you, go to the description and grab this free training now because there is no need and really no time for you to be making these 7 biggest sales mistakes. Okay, can't wait to continue the conversation below. Let me know, and for you to get your hands on your free training and bonus workbook. Until next time, take care. God bless. Love you. Bye for now. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified when we release a new video. Then click the TV to watch the next video. Go to altheamcintyre.com to get your free training on the 7 biggest sales mistakes that keep you from 7 figures.